Meeting of the Wickenburg Unified School District Board to order for the 12 December 2023 meeting, regular meeting. If you'll stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Amen. Okay. Get an adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for December 12th, 2023 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the recorder doesn't seem to be working here. Punch a red button, and that didn't seem to do it.
Casey may have all the bells in the
It
Christmas.
times itself out or something?
Arizona.
Okay, thank you.
Weird device.
It must time itself out. Okay, recognitions and proclamations. Randy?
Nothing I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Just something I read in Festival Foothills about their basketball team. So congratulations to your basketball team for doing so well.
Thanks. Very proud of them.
I was out of town and unable to attend, but I heard that the chorus and band concerts were really good, so I wanted to recognize that. And then also I was able to take my kids to Santa Fest on Saturday, and my 13-year-old did not want to go talk to Santa, but she did for me because I have a picture of every year that they've ever had it since we've lived here. So that was a lot of fun. So thank you to the high school and I think the theater department that helped out with Santa Fest this year. It was awesome.
Okay. I really don't have anything. I did want to ask a question on that basketball thing. It said they were in the semifinals.
Yes.
But on the schedule, I didn't see any other games played. So did they win their semifinal game?
They did not.
Okay.
They lost a close game.
All right. Okay. Thank you. That was my question over there. Joe.
Sure. I do not have anything tonight.
Okay. Dr. Remedy.
Yes, I thank you, Mr. Alexander. I did want to express my congratulations to all of our student performers who have celebrated their hard work with the performing to the public, and thank our music teachers, Camille Boyle, Vicki Sweeney, and Juan Serrano. This was the first year since I've been here. I was out of town for every single winter concert, so I missed every one, and it makes me so sad, as you all know, how much I think the world is okay when kids are on stage. I did want to recognize and thank a variety of people. Wickenburg Schools have partnered with the Wickenburg Police Department and the Arizona Peace Officers Standards and Training Board to host 2 statewide training sessions. And these training sessions are Train the Trainer for our police departments around the state to respond to mass casualty incidences at school sites. So Hacienda hosted 2 weeks ago, and we'll be hosting the classroom setting next week, and then Wickenburg High School will be hosting next Tuesday and Wednesday. And I appreciate our schools and our teachers who've had to vacate the buildings early. They probably think that's a gift, but we appreciate the partnership that we have with our first responders locally and then around the state. So thank you to our principals and our teachers who've bended their schedules to accommodate that. I did want to announce now, because it'll be here before we know it, January will once again be designated as Speak Up, Stand Up, Save a Life Month. And this is a time for us to take an extra look at what we do in responding to the mental health services and the needs of people in our community. So that will be on the town council meeting next week for the town to designate that as Wickenburg Speak Up, Stand Up, Save a Life. And then I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season. It's going to be here before we know it, and let's get some good food and some rest and relaxation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, principals reports. We'll start with Festival Foothills. With Mr. Matthew Clark. Okay. Who wants to start? Susan? You want to go first?
No.
No? Randy, go ahead. You're always ready.
Matt, good to see you. Good report here. Just a couple things. I did see, it looks good on our discipline summaries there. The numbers I know are looking lower because we're seeing a lot more with the PBIS and that, but I do miss not seeing the PBIS graphs like we've been seeing in there.
PBIS graphs.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's how we saw them before in the pie charts or whatever
Okay.
type thing.
Okay. Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's an easy one to put back into the
Okay.
future.
Yeah, and you know, because those are, you know, I think there was a comment in here that we're just seeing, you know, some changes or reviews, the different status of them and stuff like that, but really no numbers or anything like that. I'd like to see the numbers and that. So that's one thing. I liked the information about that PTA fundraiser. As just amazing, the $5,215. That's cool. And had the comment in there, 10% of that going to PE department, but really, where's the other proceeds going?
So the other proceeds at this point, they are working on purchasing a canopy for our preschool playground. We're trying to do some upgrades with our playgrounds down at Festival Foothills. And their part is they're looking to help finish, like I say, put a canopy. There was a grant that when I came to the job, I kind of inherited a grant that the district already had that allowed us to expand out the preschool playground that we already have. And so the PTA is working to help to pay for a canopy to put over it.
Okay, cool. And that's basically where the rest of that's going for?
Yes.
Okay. And you also mentioned the Lions Club spaghetti dinner and pancake breakfast. How's that work with the money raised for that?
In terms of totals, I haven't really ever asked the Lions Club what the totals are, but I do see a lot of the benefits, school supplies. If we have a need for supplemental books for a class, something like that, that's kind of where they tend to put all their money towards. But I've never asked for like a total of just like what, you know, how much they're getting, or I can tell they're popular because I see the people coming in and out, being in the neighborhood, or the night that it's a dinner, leaving to go home from work or something like that. There's definitely people coming in and out.
So the dinner and breakfast, all that is it raises money and goes to the Lions, and then the Lions spend that money in the school system.
The schools, the school is really their top priority, just from meeting them and just what they've shared with me. And so ultimately, I'm going to say most of it goes into the school in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. And last thing I had was I like that information about the Red Ribbon Week, drug abuse and drug free, and that's the first time I'd seen the national theme of "Be Kind to Your Mind." I thought that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Mrs. Zent, she heads that up in our building, and which I appreciate, and she does a really, really good job. And the kids, they look forward to it. They know what's coming. I kind of got a sense just from this year watching it. They knew it was that time, and they do the ribbons and the pencils, and the kids do rally towards that, which is good to see.
Well, you can't start early enough to the drug problem thing, so that's good. We're starting it with the early kids there. Thank you. Good report, Matt.
You done?
I'm done.
Nothing left, but I do have two things. The first one is, I'm not sure about this count for the students, because I believe in your count, you have, like, right here for preschool, it's active 42, but you have over here 46, plus you've added 46, but you actually only have 42 kids going to the class right now. And that's on every line. So I don't know that, and I didn't take the time to get my calculator out and add them, but I don't think that it's right,
Okay.
because you've included the inactive in your total.
What is an inactive preschooler?
There's inactive for all grades.
All of them.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
So when I asked about the inactives beforehand, it's students who were with us that aren't currently with us, but could come back to us. And so I'm looking for
And
help on
I'm
that
actually
one.
looking for Jeremy back there because, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Clark.
No, that's
The
okay.
inactive students are students that have withdrawn, but they stay active in our system until the end of the year, and we verify they've gone someplace else. So in the future, we will
That's
pull
what it
this
was.
report without the inactive students.
Okay.
But the totals are accurate, I believe. I could do that again, because I do believe you have 292 K through 8, for about 46 preschoolers, counting the part days as individual children, right?
Well, it
Some of
shows
our-
active is 42.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that does. And then
So-
added in the four others. So
Right. So I think
Yeah.
the
Well-
numbers are off.
I think you might be right.
No, and I wouldn't disagree with that. The inactives, I just couldn't remember the exact reason why we include those.
Right.
They're not there.
Right.
So, and that's what's
Well,
important
I asked the same question of Dr. Remendini today. Because it's like, okay, why are we including the inactives
Yeah,
here?
so to clarify the number, I apologize, looking over at the chart that's outlined in the reds. Sorry, Mr. Clark. I hope
No,
it's
that's okay.
If I jump in. The total at Festival Foothills right now is 311 with 42 preschoolers. So that number is inaccurate. The 27 should be subtracted from the 338.
Okay.
That's what I thought. They were included in the total, but they're not actually there. Okay. I'm glad I got that figured out. We both got it figured
all-
out.
We both got it figured out.
And then the other thing I was going to ask about is, in your summary of discipline, you said since the last report in October, you've taken time to reset, review the positive behavioral interventions and supports. And we're feeling that the following are areas of growth that we need to address as a school, which was language, racial slurs, bullying, and threats. Are you seeing any improvement?
Yeah, since I met with the staff and we discussed this, from what's coming through my office, I can talk about this a little bit too, and the referral count, yes. Is it still something that concerns me a little bit? Yes, because I know there's quiet things that can go on that maybe don't get detected or reported, and who's saying who, or who's saying what to who. There will always be a little bit of a concern of sometimes societal norms just have a funny way of following people in and out of school as well. I still think there's more that I would like to do to that. One of the things that I'm just trying to find the time on my calendar to do it, but I do kind of want to go speak directly to students and kind of address these things. Not so much in I'm going to give you a tongue lashing, but just, do we really know what these are? Do you really understand what you're saying when you say this? You know, things like
Right.
that.
And, especially if it's showing up in the lower grades, that's coming from what they hear, what they see, or an older brother or sister or what have you. So to me, you really want to get those young kids on the straight and narrow path before it continues on, plus deal with the older ones because they're probably influencing a lot of people. But I really would like us to continue to work on that because those are things that I think that are important and interrupt classes and make for a bad environment. So
Well, they do, and they're also, Mrs. Gill, they're also time consuming for a lot of things. Because, for example, if I have a report come to my office, or even just comes to a teacher before it comes to me, such and such called me. You pick your slur. I'm not going to do that in this forum, but okay. Well, we're not going to ignore that,
right.
but. We got to take some time to do it, and then it has to come my way, and then that's time, and then, well, who else has that upset besides the student? I mean, I've had a couple instances where I've had parents come see me, and they're upset, and that sort of thing, and so that just takes a lot of time out of a lot of stakeholders' day, and when it's just, number one, it's not appropriate. Number two, it's just not necessary. And then the other angle I would add to all of this too that I didn't include, but I guess I probably should have, is I have some concern about people who are, for lack of a better phrase, tattletelling just to tattletell on some of these things, because these are what I feel like are the hot button issues discipline-wise in our school. And maybe a different conversation for a different time that I'm more than happy to talk to you about, but that is an angle of this as well. And you're saying that she said that he said, well, really? Did they? Because I've had enough investigations since my time at Festival Foothills where I'm like, no, this did sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't though. And
so what you're saying is that it's not the child who was bullied or said something to that actually is coming to you, it's somebody else that's saying this happened to them?
It can be, if I'm understanding your question right. So let's say I just decide that I just don't like Sandy today. Okay, for whatever reason. Kids get those, happen sometimes, right? Okay.
Break my heart. Go ahead.
And don't worry, I like you. You're one of the cool kids, so it's okay. But maybe I asked Mrs. Webster, oh, you know what? Oh, Sandy, she is just the worst today, and blah, blah, blah. And I just think she's a whatever.
Right.
Well, then somehow Miss Webster's friend, it goes to another friend, which makes it back to you, then makes it back to my office. Well, did this really even happen to begin with? And that's a debatable piece. And like I say, there's a pattern of that. I think there's always going to be some of that at the K-8 level. So I'm not naive, but at the same time, there are times when I wonder if there's a little bit of a higher volume of it than normal, which is also something I think we need to talk about. Of you can't just tattle if you don't have anything to tattle. I don't know how, it's tough to say, but.
Right. Well, that's really my main concern. I mean, bullying's been going on forever and ever and ever. And in fact, I had lunch today with some friends, and she said she was bullied in school, but she took care of it. She just put them on the grass, stuffed their mouths with grass, and that was the end of that. They weren't bullying her anymore.
We try and encourage a different path at Festival Foothills, which I hope everybody here is glad to hear that, but that's our stance.
I thought what she did was kind of funny.
Different age.
Huh?
Different.
A different age, yeah. This was way back. And, yeah, but I hate to see that, I really wasn't bullied when I was in high school, but there was a girl that waited for me every day as I walked in the door, who wanted to beat me up. But it worries me about these young kids. Like you said, I don't even think they know what they're talking about half the time. It's just a word they've heard, or, because I know my daughter was a teacher, and she would ask them, do you even know what that means? No. you know, so.
No, and that's kind of why I want to start in that place is, do we really know?
Right.
You know, like say, let's start educationally. I don't want it to be a finger pointing or a tongue lashing, because I've had enough come through my office already to where it's like I can tell somebody didn't even really get what it is. It was just they thought that's what they should call it.
Right.
So, and it's not that they didn't have a concern we shouldn't have helped them with, but it just maybe wasn't what they thought it was. But there are those times where it has been, something has been the case, and it's like we have had to deal with something.
Okay. Well, I just want us to keep on top of that because I don't like it. And so to end on a positive note, I thought it was cool that the teachers and everybody dressed up and participated. I think that the kids enjoy when the teachers come in dressed as funny people or Barbie.
They do like that stuff.
And that's it. That's all I have.
Susan?
Yeah, the only thing I really had is, you know, I know the Galileo data is sort of an in progress kind of thing, but would it be possible to get like the count of number of students in these categories? I know that because, you know, showing 50% not passing, how many is that?
Oh,
you know,
okay, sure.
As far as count of students. And then maybe just see, I don't know if it's even pertinent, but see a differential from the first test to the second test to the third test, so we could see the growth, because I know that's what we're really focusing on, is growing. And I think also the test gets more, does it get more difficult as the year goes on? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it gets more difficult the more they learn, but still just to kind of see how they're doing. But otherwise, I think it's a great report. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I've never figured out this Galileo data because testing on things that they haven't had in class yet. So you know, you have to have all the background information to know whether there's any changes or not in any of that information. But saying that, you know, particularly the 8th grade doesn't look good. You know, it just they're.
Yes.
Yeah, and so to get, I guess, they don't know, like 8th grade math on benchmark 2, I guess they don't, if you're being tested on things you haven't had yet, well then they have they're not able to even guess at it correctly, you know, because it looks like they're all, you know, below not passing. But anyway, yeah, it's just I want to see the kids improving, and I want to see them at grade level. But you know, like I've talked with Dr. Raymondini and stuff on this data that we get. It's hard to tell what we really have. But anyway, I want to go back to the discipline thing a little bit, because there was an event that was kind of embarrassing, I guess, when the mother came to pick up her child and the child wasn't in class, and you had to put a search party out to find her, and it was like, you know, there's like 4 of them that were playing hooky, and somehow they got lost between classes, and from what I got told anyway, and you know, I don't know. I mean, how do you fix that when they're sent from one class to the other, and then is there any communications that you've instituted? You familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes, no, I'm totally familiar with what I'm talking about. So I'll stick to kind of what we're instituting and what we're working on.
Okay.
I think with the middle school, just in general, I'm going to call it systems in progress beyond just what we're talking about, but to stick to what you're talking about. We are taking a real hard look at why are we out of class? How easy is it to get out of class? I don't think we can just have the traditional bathroom pass system that maybe other classrooms and or other school settings can have. because we're not a large campus,
Right.
even with K through 8. So it's not like we're this big, vast high school, and having been in the high schools and knowing how easy it is for kids to hide. Yeah, I mean, I can see where it is a little embarrassing that we didn't know that. Yeah, a kid can get away, but there's things that we can do. So I'm looking at bathroom pass system. We're taking a look at, well, when are we changing classes? Can that just be when we have, I hate to keep focusing on the bathroom, but that's always the common culprit is, I got to go to the bathroom. Okay. So how do our transitions from English to math to science to specials to whatever that may be, what are our transitions really looking like? Do our kids really need to be out of class as much as they do? Look, I've been around the block. I've seen it as a teacher. I see it now as an admin. No, they don't. Okay. So those are the places that we're doing. And then the communication piece. If a teacher really thinks they are sending the student up to the office for whatever reason, do we call the office? Are we giving a heads up? Hey, this kid is coming now. They should be there. Okay, when it's time to leave. Hey, just sent the kid back, should be there in just a sec. That type of stuff. I don't think it was necessarily purposefully loose, but sometimes you just don't realize where things are drifting, and you got to reset stuff.
Yeah. I just like you say, but the campus is very no traffic outside, over there, during class. And if you have kids that are making that move somehow, I mean, I can see them just hitting the gate, walking.
Well, and that's
walking down to the Shell station and, then saying, hey, give me a ride, and who knows where they end up.
No, and that's my bigger concern is this time it was hiding in the stage area.
Right.
Thankfully. But yeah, what is it? We go out the gate, slip out to the park, the Shell, or beyond. I mean, because that's the real reality that I worry about.
Yeah, because, I've been around there when classes in, and there's nobody out there. So if they're making a move, they can very easily. And that was my concern of just, the safety and security of, those students that want to. I remember when I was in high school. I mean, these are middle school, but hey, yeah, I did things. And that's the reason that I'm just concerned. Because I know there are things that can be done very easily on a small campus. And so, yeah, that was my concern about that. I just wanted to, talk to you about that one. But otherwise, I don't know, just hypothetically, not security or any particular thing or grade level. If you could do anything you wanted to do there to get the kids, up to grade level, to, do increase security, to do whatever, what would you do?
Well, let's start with student success first, and I'll come back to the security since it sounds like that's where we're going.
And not necessarily, I would just say anything is, that was just one of the items if you wanted, but I just said, if you had anything you could do, but primarily I was interested more in the student grade level, success kind of thing.
So.
And I know, I'm sorry, putting you on the
spot.
No,
no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not doing that at all. I just am trying to I have in my head is where do I want to start? So from a student success standpoint, I think I want everybody just to understand that all students can be successful. In November at our professional development, I spent the morning session where we really broke down our report card, and that was a real crash course for me coming from out of state. I mean, have I been around state testing and results? Yes. But how it works in every state is a little bit different. But we did it anyways, and we're shooting for an A. Why wouldn't we? And so really, but that was one of the things I spent a lot of time talking about is if you looked at our data in the simplest form, okay, and this is simple, but we need 17 kids just to move from minimally proficient to proficient, and we were an A. Now, obviously, there's a lot of, we got 300 kids, there's a varying factor, it's not
Right.
quite that simple, but you get my point.
Right.
17 kids. And that's if we keep everybody else where they're at. Now, obviously, you're aiming for everybody. But my point is we can't just look at a kid as, okay, well, mentally proficient and, you know, their attendance isn't good and they got just, you can't do that. It's, you meet everybody where they're at, but when they're all moving together, well, number one, the kids are being successful with where they're at, which is the most important, but then the school success comes right behind it. And so that's where I look at with that. And then I would like to see us work on being more targeted with our systems. I think we do. I think we have some good things in place that maybe we don't utilize as well as I think we could. For example, we have our person who monitors our RTI. I look at when she solicits for responses from teachers about students for her to work with. I've noticed that nobody sends their kids. Why is that the case? I mean, we have an RTI team. You know, I don't understand that. So why is that going to waste?
Right.
Our interventionists, I look at like our person who's part-time math right now, who I think does a good job, but when I look at the list of kids, it's like, well, do we really have the right list of kids in front of him to really increase student success individually and as a whole? Things like that is where I wonder. So I think we're starting the deeper dive, even though we haven't done more than start it. So I guess that's kind of where I look at with student success. With safety and security, I think part of it's going to come to fruition. We interviewed for SROs, and so we're just waiting to figure out who we got assigned for our SRO in our building. We will get somebody good. I thought all the candidates were good. There's one that I thought would fit festival a little better than the others. But having any of them is going to be a win for the school regardless. And I think that brings a peace of mind, not only to some of our students who have those concerns, but I think also some of our community members, knowing that we'll have that on our campus on a daily basis. So I like that. I'm not sure how deep I should go. There's one more pie in the sky to my head, but I'm going to stop right now because I'm taking too much time.
Okay.
So
Now, I was curious because the student success is more of what I, concerned about. And having, 8th graders show up at high school and, they really should still be in the 8th grade, is an issue that I don't know, I can't do anything about. But anyway, well, thank you. Joe, you have anything?
I just wanted to join in and agree with Susan Webster about the let's get student count. How many is 50%? Is that 2 kids or 12 kids? So I like that was brought up. And then the other thing I wanted to say, because everything else was talked about several times over already, but on a SMART goal that you've got for the by the end of 23-24 school year, you have Festival Foothills at a higher average proficiency rate than the state average. And it seems like it's going to be I wish, and I hope it does happen, but basing some of the analogies that I look at with the, living Galileos that are in this report, it just seems like it's going to be a far reach, and I hope we can do it. But otherwise, great report. Like I said, everything else was touched on, and I don't need to beat a dead horse. But good report, Matt. I appreciate it.
thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Moving on then. We have Miss Carissa Hershkowitz here for the Asiampa report. And who wants to go first with that one?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that Galileo data, obviously, we'd like to see better, but, you know, keep working. And I think everything else, you know, there's so many great activities going on. I loved going to the symphony. That was such a fun day. And congratulations on your A rating again.
Thank
So
you.
amazing. But yeah, I mean, everything going on is great. And I don't really have any other updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sunday.
Susan?
Sunday.
I mean, Sandy?
Actually, I didn't, I have, I'm happy to see progress being made. And, you know, congratulations again on your A rating. And I love the field trip, you know, going out and actually doing. I always think you learn more by doing than reading. So that I thought was exciting. And I love the class hug.
Oh yeah, that was so cute.
Wasn't that sweet?
I
Yeah.
know we need to be kinder to people. So I'm going to be very
Absolutely.
kind and end it right there.
All right.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
Randy?
Okay. Good report again, Chris. What I like is seeing, just give a little bit of information about every grade level. That was good.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while, so
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
I try to minimize what I.
No, bad part. I missed the discipline data chart
Yep.
in there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different tool for us right now. So it's still something that we're looking at and kind of getting used to how it's presented. But I can assure you that it's something that's looked deeply at as a team and determining what our steps are and what it is. We have a lot of great intervention happening for students, and sometimes those graphs don't show what's really going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as board members.
Yeah, I know
we're
you
all
love a
looking for
graph. I'll
numbers.
get
We're
you a
looking for
graph.
numbers.
We will get you a graph and those numbers. Yes.
And, yeah, the same thing,
Yes.
yeah, with the PBIS, the, you know,
Yep.
pie charts and.
For sure.
And where the discipline problems, I know you have some information written in there about
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, I'm a visual person, I like to see that stuff.
We will get those back in.
The other thing about visual, and this kind of goes for both you and the Festival Foothills, well, all schools really, is to see the Galileo benchmark data. I want to see consistency between schools. I mean, I'm seeing a different chart with
Yep.
Festival Foothills and Culture Peak and yours, they're all different, you know, so.
Yeah, we used to be so matched they didn't seem different at all. And so there's been a little more, you know, trying some other things out. So, you know, you bring it out, you bring it back in. So we'll bring it back in.
Maybe work it with
We'll
the
bring
other
it back in for you.
teachers, the
Yep.
principals, make sure you all get it the same.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, and, of course, again, the A letter grade was great. I know we brought that up last meeting. You weren't here for that, but.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but that was great to see that and to have the celebration that you did have for that.
It's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And some of the community members and council members and things like that were there for
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
really, really good. Real good.
I have a wonderful parent cheerleader this year, so she's really been helping us out.
That's good. And the other thing, I like that that information gives on the instructional coaching. So I just kind of wondering how the teachers are receiving that. Are they enthusiastic with it? Do they feel they're you know, just being, you know, what I'll call it.
It's a careful relationship in knowing what each teacher needs. Teachers have strengths and areas to work on, and sometimes they're very aware of those areas, and sometimes you got to kind of bring that to light. And I have a fabulous instructional coach, so she's very good at working with teachers and helping them come to the conclusion that, we need to try something else. It's scary to try something new in your instruction and be willing to have somebody come in and watch what you're doing and then go to another classroom and see what they're doing as well. But we've had some really great conversations and more and more of that willingness to use her the way she should be used,
Okay.
Yep.
You know, when I went, no,
Randy's not done.
when I was out in the working world, I worked for a company that some of our managers and leaders wanted to be right there to see everything that was going on. It was like micromanaging.
Yeah.
You know? And that,
Not that.
I'm just hoping that's not.
That's not that. No,
good.
no, it's a guide on the side and,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Good partnerships.
Very
It's the
good.
only way to do it.
Good job, Carissa. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Sandy.
Oh, no, I just wanted to ask real quick, and I forgot. The kids that are coding,
Mhm.
how's that going?
Very well. They just finished up this 6-week session just last week. So they'll be starting the next 6 weeks in January. There were some that were torn because Coyote Chorus started up, and so they had to make that decision about whether it was computers or music. And so some went to music for the quarter, and then they'll come back to the coding, and we'll see. I think it's going really well.
How many students do you think we have participating?
We had 40, and I believe we only lost a couple to Coyote Chorus, so well over 30.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well, I still want to come hang out.
come check it out. Yes, now you have to wait till January 22nd. We'll be back.
Put it on my calendar.
Okay,
Okay.
you done? Yep, down there? Okay. Okay, I have a very simple question.
Sure.
What is the HAL acronym?
Honor, ownership, work, and leadership.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Work,
didn't have that. Work.
work and leadership, okay. All right, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah,
I
sorry
had-
about that.
We had the SOAR at that festival there, I had that one spelled out, but how I couldn't figure out on that one. But yeah, same thing that everybody else has talked about the celebration for the letter, the grade of A in the school. But being able to get that out to the entire school and include the community in it and get it, publicize that, it's good PR. And
It is. It is.
really, provides sense of confidence in the systems, educational system here in Wickenburg. And in your grade by grade, paragraph writing here, I like that, that you did that, but then I wanted to just mention the fourth grade that, had the great increase of, whatever,
Work on their math facts.
72% or something that scored above
Yeah.
proficiency by the IXL data.
Right.
So, yeah, I thought that's good.
So it's a good example of different data that we're looking at.
Right.
And I know you guys have heard enough time about the Galileo is kind of the big picture of fourth grade. And then the teachers have other assessments that they can look at, like from the IXL, where it's tuned in on what they're actually
Yeah.
providing instruction on.
Right, and so that's more of for us, I guess, but data that shows that there's actual growth
Growth's
going
going
on.
on. Right, right,
You look at
right.
Galileo data and
It's like a punch in the stomach.
you don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
throw a dart at the board, and if it hits on growth, then it's growth, but otherwise, they could,
Right, right.
for me, I get.
Well, we know from our letter grade that our strength was growth.
Right,
So we know, that proficiency is something that we've worked hard toward, but at least we know that we're growing students. So,
that's good. I like that.
Good.
Okay. Joe,
Sure.
do you have any?
All right, Rick, my turn.
yes,
Yes.
Joe?
First grade. So we've got the co-teaching.
Yeah,
How long have we been doing the co-teaching in that first grade?
I think for a month, about a month.
Okay, because I like that idea a lot.
Yes,
I just wish we had enough people to do it in more grades, because I think it's a lot of beneficial things come out of that, and I believe you will anyway.
Right, it's like what Randy said, you can't push something to micromanage it. It was organic, and
Yeah.
they made it happen.
Yes, you did. Very proud. And then the other thing that really stuck out for me, well, going on what Randy said to it, I'm glad that we have these little snippets of each grade of something that's going on in there. Helps a lot. But the second grade outdoor classroom, that multi classroom, I think that's such a neat idea. Such a neat idea.
Yes, it's right in our backyard. We should be using it. So it's one of those early adopters. Miss Payway's doing an awesome job with that.
Yes. Everything else has been touched on enough times. The only thing I wanted to mention has to do with the calendar of events. Actually, for all of our campuses, I meant to mention something from that part too. Our January board meeting has been changed. So in case anybody really reads these dates, now it's been changed to the 16th. Because I know that a lot of parents like to read those and they all swarm into the meeting.
Right. Right, we'll make sure it's changed on our big calendars.
What was that?
We will make sure that it gets changed on the big calendar.
Perfect. All right, otherwise, great report,
16.
and we got a lot of good feedback, and appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. We have any public here? Let's see, general information and call to the public. It's there. You're our public, I guess, tonight.
Yeah, not speaking, I'm just here.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you coming. So moving on to the consent agenda, does anybody need to have anything pulled? No? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for December 12th, 2023 as submitted.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, our action items, our financial report. Yes,
Good
sir.
evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Mazzini. In front of you, you have our monthly financial report for the month of November. As you can see, we're still trending very well and pretty much where I would expect to be at this point in the year. We are up, obviously, over prior year in both M&O and in capital. In fact, in capital, we're not very far off from what the total year to date was last year. So I'm pleased that we're finally getting some of these capital projects done. So our budget balances are positive. We are in compliance, and there are no surprises to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, any questions, anybody? Okay, then can I get a motion to approve the financial reports?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report as submitted.
Okay, have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Joe?
Mm.
Did we get an aye from Joe?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Okay, first reading of our policies. Any questions, discussion on that?
Mr. Alexander, if I may, there is a minor typo on policy JFABDA. It does not change the content. There's an extra letter, word A that we will correct before the second reading.
Okay, the extra A in the title?
The extra A in, I believe it's on item C. The way it was translated, it said if a determination, and now it says if it is determined, so the A didn't get
Oh,
removed.
I got you.
Does that
Okay,
make sense?
Okay, yeah, all right. But there were so many
It's on-
A's in the title too. I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know if
on,
there was an
it's
extra
on the
one there or
new
not.
C,
I got you. I
So-
see it. I see it there. Okay,
and that's a minor correction we can do before the second read and the adoption of the policy.
okay. Nothing else there. We don't need a vote or anything on that. Okay, now it's time that we will want to move into our executive session. Can I get a motion to convene into executive session?
I'll make a motion to approve the governing board to convene into executive session.
Second.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're now in executive session, so